Still on, buddy.
I'm not. How you doing?
See you, man.
See you.
Things
Working
going all right?
overtime? Yeah.
Your schoolwork.
By our computer.
I know.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. A reminder to please silence all cell phones and electronic devices. There's no recordings during this. And to make sure to give your name and affiliation when you get the mic to ask your question. We are joined by UCLA head coach Kelly Inouye Perez and players Taylor Tinsley and Jordan Willery. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach Inouye Perez, then go to questions to the players. Players will leave, and then we'll go to questions for Coach.
First and foremost, I have so much respect for the Alabama program. Pat Murphy and what he does every year. So I'm not surprised that they're here, and it's always great to compete. There's always a great game against them. And then to my Bruins, game one, I can tell you, is always the hardest. And I'm proud. You know, we got to feel, we got experience, we got to settle in. The plan the entire time is I wanted KT and Taylor to get out there so that they can have. They could get a feel for the game, but, it comes down to critical moments, and I always say, the game has a sixth sense of humor. Jordan had an opportunity early in the game, and it didn't pay her back in that moment, but that's one thing that makes, Jordan very special, is it's kind of crazy how those situations, it was familiar territory. She stepped in and was ready for that next at-bat, so I'm just really proud. Game one, we're excited. We'll figure out what's next, but for right now, I'm just going to celebrate the fact that game one is a big one, and I'm super proud of my Bruins.
Thanks. We'll go to questions for players. Front row left, Jenny.
Jenny Carlson. Hey, Jordan, can you talk us through the home run? Let's start there, and then I want to ask you about the previous at-bats.
I just wanted to have Meg's back. She's had my back all year long, so seeing her go down, I wanted to step up and be there for her, and even if I didn't get the outcome, I knew the next inning we were going to come through, and we could have played for the rest of the day if we had to.
Did you realize as soon as you hit it, it was probably out?
Yeah, I think I kind of blacked out after I hit it, so I don't really remember, honestly.
What about your previous at-bats? I think a strikeout, a ground out.
Yeah.
What were you seeing, and what did you change in that third at-bat?
I think my last at-bat, just not letting the moment get to me and being too big, settling in in my third at-bat, where the first two I was kind of excited to be here and excited to play. So settling in and just playing my game, I think, was a big portion of that.
Go front row left.
For Jordan, what was Kayla Beaver able to do up until that home run that you had that was kind of able to limit you offensively?
She was throwing a lot of good pitches. She was throwing a lot of drop balls. So I think we were just kind of grounding out and getting on top of it. So making the adjustment the last inning was really big for us. And Coach Lisa was helping us throughout the whole game. So it was really cool.
Go second row left here.
Taking a win with the LA Times for both Jordan and Taylor. You mentioned this is your first time here in Oklahoma City. Just what was the actual experience like now that you've lived it, and how did you kind of process that experience and then just settle in and play some softball?
Yeah, I feel like for me, just coming in and having KT's back, it definitely was a little bit a lot, just look around and see how many people are there. But I ended up just settling in and finding my focal point, and just playing the game, loud pop, soft pop, just playing with Shar. So ended up just settling in quite nicely. So same with Jordan. So.
Yeah, I would say the same. Just settling in and realizing it's just softball, even though the stage is a little bit bigger, but remembering it's just a game at the end of the day.
Okay, we'll go front row left to Jenny again.
Kelly, you've so often brought teams here.
It's just players. Right?
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Taylor, can you just talk a little bit about the challenge of Alabama? They obviously have great pitching, and then they kind of try to do what you guys did today, is just find those timely hits. How are you able to avoid letting them find that one or two to get you guys on the ropes?
Yeah, Alabama, they're definitely great hitters, and we faced great hitters all year. So just attacking the zone and providing my pitches and executing what I know is best, and trusting in Coach I that she's going to call the right pitch, and trusting Shar she's going to get the strike for me. So just having a lot of trust in my coaches and my defense.
Okay, we go front row to left again.
For both players, just how big was it for y'all momentum-wise to play at the end of the fifth inning to get that play at the plate to prevent Alabama from taking the lead?
I think just trusting the defense, our outfield especially is literally ridiculous. So I knew Meg was going to come up with the play, especially like all the outies are doing such a good job. And I think it kind of turned the momentum for us too.
Yeah, and Char's a dog. She's a veteran, so I knew she was going to get the out. So
More questions for players? Okay. Second row on the left again.
How did you guys spend the rain delay? How did you kind of like stay focused and be ready to play? I almost forgot what happened.
yeah, I mean, I feel like we're pretty good with rain delays. Honestly, it's been a pretty rainy season for us, even though we're in LA. But just playing music and just staying loose and just chatting it up. So nothing crazy.
Okay. Front row left again to Jenny.
To both of you players, coming here as first timers, I mean, lots of times, you know, every UCLA player, a freshman, you come. I mean, this is a first experience for sophomores and freshmen on this team. What did it mean to get that under your belt and get a win at the same time? Just what was your mindset in terms of getting that experience, but also getting a win today?
It was really cool. I think just playing for the seniors last year who didn't get to come here, I think that fueled us a lot. And then also knowing, like, even though we didn't get outcome immediately, like, everyone was going to have our back and, like, not pressing throughout the game, but just continue to let the game come to us.
Yeah, definitely doing it for seniors for last year. I know Megan Framo, she's definitely still really close for me. And just knowing that me and KT here, we're just going to ride this out and have our offenses back, have our defenses back. So just definitely just super excited. Glad we got the win under our belt for sure.
Any more questions for players? Okay. Players, you can have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll open up questions for Coach now. Okay, we'll go front row left here.
For Coach, on that play in the fifth inning, with Megan throwing it out at the plate, just kind of what did you see on that play, and how big was that for y'all to prevent them from taking a lead?
Well, I knew where we were playing defensively. You know, of course, you know, you got to send the runner, but I'm kind of glad they did because Megan was in position. She's got a good arm, and the ball was hit right to her. So I felt really good if we were able to play catch that she was going to be out at the plate. I know our world is so heightened right now with obstruction, but that was clearly a catch and out. So it wasn't as close or dramatic as there have been plays throughout the year. It was just a test to see if we could play catch, and we did.
Okay, we'll go front row left to Jenny again.
Kelly, I got two. Obviously, when they decided to intentionally walk Shar to get to a couple pretty big hitting but young players, what was sort of your sense of things at that point, first with Megan and then obviously with Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, it's a smart move, right? Char's a hot hitter, and but I love what we have behind them. And I think the experience, like Megan, I can't wait to see what she's going to do next because we've talked about it. I have her behind Char for a reason. And everyone, you know, it's a great coaching move. So with it, strategically, we knew if we moved the runner that we could put ourselves at that point. With a tie ball game at the World Series, Game 1, you know, we've got to be able to do whatever it takes to be able to try to get that lead run. So with it, I kind of knew that could happen, and that was the decision we made by advancing the runner 60 feet. But once again, you know, both those two, you know, Megan has come through some really big at-bats for us, and Jordan has come through with some really big at-bats for us, and Savvy's been playing really great, so it gives us more confidence knowing the pressure doesn't have to be on Char. So she may or may not get at-bats all weekend, but it's just going to provide opportunity for those behind her to be able to have that big moment. And today it was Jordan. That was exciting. But it's, again, in last year and this year, both of those two have done some pretty phenomenal things.
Well, I wanted to also follow up what I asked them just about you've got some pretty important pieces that this is their first Women's College World Series experience. To get that experience moving forward, but to get a win at the same time, how crucial is that for your team?
I mean, game 1 of every postseason tournament is the biggest, you know, and the nerves and all those things are just a factor. I remember being a player. I remember what it feels like to feel like, whoa, it seems really easy to watch. Just slow it down and get underneath the drop ball and take it opposite field. I mean, everyone's saying that, but the energy and there's a lot of there's just a lot of energy that every player is feeling. So we say this all the time, the team that settles in and plays their game is going to give themselves the best chance. And we've pulled together a lot. I credit my coaches. They did a great job of pulling them in every inning. Normally we'd let them talk about it and make adjustments, but kind of pulled them in and stayed with them, but stayed very positive. You know, it's not a time to be Captain Obvious on this is what you need to do, but they stayed very positive. They stayed very hopeful on what we're going to do. We knew, that we had the opportunity to throw the last punch. There's familiar territory, but this team is battle tested. We've been behind. We've had to find ways to be able to get on the board so they can come out and swing it. And we did that in the first, and we were not, we didn't square up anything. It wasn't great, but their ability to settle in, like even Maya, finding a way to be able to get on base, and she took 2 low pitches and were able to find ways to get on base. Those are the little things that add up to the big things in those moments. But this team, again, we have found a way to win. The game doesn't always allow you to do it, but as things get later in a game, we have the ability to make adjustment, and that's something that I think is what you need to do, especially at this time of year.
All right, we'll go front row on the right over here.
Brady Vernon, Softball America. Just how does it speak to the maturity of KT to come in and just firing the strike zone and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like I wouldn't use the word mature with KT because she's such a fire. She's so fiery, but there's no thought of anything but I'm gonna go. Like there's no other thought. So with it, she's engaged. She's passionate. She's a power pitcher. There's times she missed on some balls, and she, like I say, what I love about her is she'll come in and she'll just own it. She'll just say, that was fat. That was straight up there, and then want to get better. She's a true pitcher. She's a true competitor. Maturity is something that you almost gain through time. This is her first time on the stage, and all I know was she was green means go. There were a lot of misses. But I think what she does is she was able to settle in with that big time changeup, or she got the big time drop to be able to get some of those big outs in critical moments, and that's just a sign of a higher level pitcher. I can't wait to see what she's going to do for the rest of her career because her mindset is get in the box. I want to get you out, like literally every single time. So it's fun. It's fun to be able to see them grow and develop. And then with Taylor, Taylor obviously kind of felt a little bit out of body experience, just like everyone's like, oh, that's a bummer when you're watching it. But to see her settle in and find that pitch at the end those are the things that make me proud as a coach, that they can find a way to just play their game in big moments. It's not easy. It's a big stage. There's a lot on the line. But the fact that they did do that is great signs for the rest of the tournament for us.
Okay, this will be our last one, second row on the left here.
Kelly, you mentioned trailing, coming back, finding ways to win. You guys have been good at that all year. How did you build that? What about this team is unique to have that kind of mentality?
First of all, there's a lot of trust in the program between the athletes and the coaches. The work ethic is there during practice. We're not just swinging. There's intent behind situational hitting, certain counts. Just, sometimes we just give them one shot, give them one pitch to be able to really lock into a moment. There's focus on, what side of the ball to hit, what part of the field to hit, what pitch to attack. But I credit my coaches, Lisa and Coach Kirk and Bubba and Will are just a staff that have everything covered. They're prepared. And this is the bottom line. If it's a drop ball pitcher, it's a rise ball pitcher, she has a great changeup. We have practiced this a lot. And like I say, if we settle into our game, I have strong belief that we'll find a way to be able to get on the board. But I think the biggest thing is defense wins championships at the end of the day. It's not easy to dial up a lot of runs at this tournament, and the catch that Jalen made, the foul ball, like those types of things, or the throw that Megan made. There's things, or Shar threw out the runner by a pretty good margin. Like those are the things that are big. And the pitchers, obviously it starts in the circle. To have my 2 pitchers with very little experience kind of stumble a little bit but settle in, that makes me really excited about our opportunities to be able to compete in this tournament.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thanks.
Alabama will be up next shortly. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. A reminder, no recordings during these press conferences. Please make sure to silence your cell phones and electronic devices and give your name and affiliation when you ask a question. We're joined by Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy and players Bailey Dowling and Kayla Beaver. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach Murphy, then go to questions for players. Players will leave and then go to questions to Coach Murphy. So, Coach Murphy.
All right, thanks a lot. Hey, like I said the other day, there's no such thing as a bad day at the College World Series. So it was a well-played game. They had an opportunity to win it. They did it. One good swing. So both sides played well. Just a really good college softball game. And I think everybody on our team, and you guys probably who have covered softball before, knows that the three key things in a high-level game is a great start, great defense, and then a key hit. And they got the key hit. So kudos to the young lady. And, hey, we're going to look forward to tomorrow. We've been here before. Our backs have been against the wall, so it's no big deal. And we're going to fight like hell.
All right, we'll go to questions for players. Okay, we'll go front row left here.
Katie Wyndham from Bama Central. For both players, just kind of bouncing off what Murph just said, obviously losing is not what you want, but this is kind of a position y'all are familiar with, lost the first game of Supers. Kind of how is this something that y'all can, or maybe that are used to and can build off of with your backs against the wall?
Like Murph said, we've been here before, and I think it allows us to play even more free than we already are, honestly, because, nobody thinks that or thought that we were even going to get here, and here we are. And at this point, we're just having fun. We're ready to win, so come out tomorrow and go get them.
Same thing. I mean, like Murph said, we've been here before. We were in this situation last weekend, and, we came back the next day fighting, and we know how to play with our backs against the wall. There's a lot of stuff on the line, and at the end of the day, the pressure's on them because, again, we weren't even supposed to be here. And so going off that, we can play free, enjoy the game, and see what happens.
More questions for players? Anybody? All right, that'll be it for players. You're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, questions for Coach Murphy? Okay, we'll go front row left here.
Anna Snyder, Tuscaloosa News. Coach, you mentioned you guys have been here before, but you got a quick turnaround tomorrow. So how are you going to, refocus the team to bounce back tomorrow?
Well, we got to see who we're going to play, number one, and then obviously it's going to be a great team. So there's 8 really, really good teams at the end of the year, and everybody really is playing their best. That's the key to get here. You play your best 2 weekends before, and then you get to come to OKC. So whoever it is going to be playing well, and that's the fun part. It's a great game. It's a fun game, and we had bases loaded and 1 out. We got 1 run. They had bases loaded and 2 outs. Got a 3-run home run. It's a great game, and then it breaks your heart the next second. So whoever it is, it'll be a good team, and we'll be ready to go.
One question. Go front row left to Jenny.
Patrick, can you talk us through the play at the plate, what you saw, just that
Yeah,
thing?
it's just, now with replay, it's almost like you have to do it, And one thing that when I've watched the last couple of months, if you see me at third base and there's a runner anywhere, I'm always doing like this, which means leave on time. Don't leave early, because you can replay that. And I've seen 3-run home runs wiped off the board because somebody at first or second got caught and they left early, which is just, anyway. So on time, and then what the end result sometimes is the lead is short because they want to leave on time, but then the lead isn't a 4-stride lead, which usually what we teach. So, hey, the right fielder, clean, great throw, the whole thing. But I think you just have to try. But everything was by the book. That was a long shot. And I had a challenge, so what the heck.
What you want? Yeah.
So kind of following up on that, when you say you have to do it, you mean like you have to send Callie in that situation? Because you talk about the clutch hits, and Kinley gets a hit there with bases loaded, 2 outs. So you felt like you had to send Callie?
I think so because, we scored a lot of runs with 3 hits in an inning. They scored a big, 3 runs with 1 hit, a big home run. And I just felt we had to try it, push the envelope a little bit.
More question? Okay, we'll go front row left again.
Larissa Pruitt, we saw her leave the game first inning. Are there any updates you can give us regarding
Yeah,
her?
she, right before the game, AC Atinka, our athletic trainer, said, hey, Larissa said her hamstring's pulling a little. And then she gets the hit, and I watched her run down, and it was not good. And so that's why we ran over and said, and she, of course, wanted to stay in, but I think if she would have stayed in, it would have been worse. So that was the only reason why she got replaced. And then Lojo got a hit the next time. But I thought if she stayed in, she would have made it worse. So hopefully, she's got a day for a little treatment, and we'll see how it is tomorrow.
Any more questions for Coach Murphy? Okay, front row left again.
Outside of the home run, I think Beaver finished at like 68 pitches. How do you think she did in her first World Series start?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, and Brady got to second. Palacios is killing the ball. No way. I'm not going to let her beat us. So Walker, the next kid, strikes out looking. Now we're feeling good. 2 outs, first and second. And then it was Miss Woolery, right? And she had struck out the time before. And, stuff happens. But Beaver was awesome. I thought her ball was really moving. I never did see miles per hour on the scoreboard, but it looked like it was fast. I thought she was in control of her emotions. It wasn't, a roller coaster. And a lot of new kids played for the first time, which is a great thing because, we're going to be back.
Any more questions, Coach Murphy?
All right. Thanks a lot,
Coach.
guys. Jill, good to see you.